and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it might seem a little early to be talking about Christmas spending. There's honestly a good amount of the population where when Christmas comes along, they have no savings for it, but that's one thing to have no savings. And it's another thing to go into debt to pay for Christmas spending because you believe in the magic of the holidays. And so there are some ways and some things that you can do to be more prepared when the holidays come around. So hopefully you're not one of those people that have to go into debt for Christmas spending. I have some great tips in this video that I believe will help you make sure that you are fully prepared for the Christmas that you have envisioned in your mind and in your dreams. And so please keep watching. My name's KT and this is Simple Living with KT, the place where we talk about the issues facing our lives in a simple and mindful way. Please be sure to like this video as well as subscribe on YouTube so that you could be notified when I post next. Very briefly, I want to touch on why holiday debt spending is such a big deal, whether you realize it or not. In general, people are, one, spending more on the holidays, and two, what happens to be just 1 month of holiday spending turns into a year of repayment and additional interest that you're paying on that debt that you took out just for Christmas. While it might seem justified in the passion of Christmas, it becomes less magical when you're paying off that debt in January, February, March, April, May, June, July. You get it, for the entire year. So the first thing that you can do to get ready for Christmas spending is to take stock of your situation. Hopefully you have a budget. If not, this is a great time to get acquainted with budgeting so that you know what your expenses are and how much money that you could reasonably put to the side in preparation for Christmas. This also gives you a good idea on whether you need to find a way to make more money. If you realize that for the past couple of years, you spend $1,000 to $2,000 on the holiday season and you're consistently going into debt because maybe you're living paycheck to paycheck or maybe you don't have a budget, this would be a good time to figure that out with your budget and having an honest conversation about your spending. So that way, if you need to work a couple extra nights a week, perhaps with overtime, if your company does not offer overtime like many companies, you might need to get a second job or start taking that side hustle that you have a little bit more aggressively to make some income that way. The next thing that'd be great to do would be to make a journal of what you want your Christmas to look like. And I mean, include everything. You could do this on Pinterest really nicely by creating your own personal board of Christmas and the year. So Christmas 2021. And what does that include for you? Are you going to be traveling? Is your family out of the city or out of the state or even out of the country? Do you plan to go out to eat a lot during this time? Do you have a lot of young nieces and nephews that perhaps you want to make sure that their Christmas is extra magical by getting some big ticket or maybe just a bunch of small little stocking stuffers? All of those things add up. And honestly, I know many people say you can't put a price on happiness, but there's a price on toys and there's a price on dinner. And these things can, for the most part, be estimated ahead of time. And so make the list and then put prices on it. And that's not to say that you can't go over what you say you'd like per gift for someone, but it does help you put into perspective if you realize that you want to buy gifts for 10 people and you estimate, $10 for each person. If you at least have that $100 saved up by the time Christmas rolls around, if you stay relatively close to that amount, you would be much more prepared than if you saved nothing and came into Christmas completely unprepared. Something to note is that this does not happen overnight, which is why starting so early is always going to benefit you. but also there are a lot of emotions and ideas that we have towards what the holiday season means to us, and also how consumerism has just been pounded into every aspect of our lives. And that is hard to break. And I don't even think it needs to completely be broken. But if you're going for broke every single holiday season, that does take a toll on your long term financial health. And that is something that is important and should really be focused on. I also think it's a good time to have a nice reflection period for yourself to perhaps ask some hard questions. If you found yourself going into debt previously for Christmas and it's taken you the entire next year to pay off that debt, there's a couple of ways that I'd like you to think about that. Because if you're able to pay back a bill for a debt, in theory, if you did not have that debt, you should be able to save that amount of money. I know so many people who say if there's money available in the bank account, it's basically on fire and it needs to be spent. I would earnestly suggest some self reflection on that behavior and those ideas. And another thing to mention, I know people don't want to sacrifice the magic of the holiday season because they had to use up all that money that they saved up for Christmas on an unexpected emergency. This is also another difficult situation that has many different ways of working itself out in our lives. Some people will easily be able to flip a switch in their minds and say, you know what, I spent the money, there will be no gifts whatsoever, and we will find a way to move past this time. But that's not how everyone honestly is wired. It's not like flipping a switch. It is a big emotional factor. And I know I've spoken to people who have children where it's extra rough because the child has an idea of what Christmas is, and you don't want to let someone that you love and who's someone who's so cute basically down because you're unable to get those types of gifts. I can't answer that question of whether or not you should cancel the holidays because an emergency came up, but I do think it's very important to delve into that idea of whether a year of paying off debt and having that interest and being even more strapped for cash is ultimately worth one holiday season. And also, maybe there's ways to be more inventive when it comes to the holidays. Perhaps instead of buying gifts, there is something that you can make. Maybe there's times with family that you weren't able to see in the past that you could get together and be able to have a memorable experience with your family rather than spending a lot of money. There's never going to be a 100% right or wrong way, but I think when we start being a bit more mindful about how we're spending money, why we're spending money, what are the ultimate motivations, are there other ways to achieve the goals that you want, especially without sacrificing your own financial future, you can be more aware and also be more comfortable with the way that things are now and how you can make them even better in the future. Christmas and holiday spending is something that is very, very near and dear to me because you don't have to sacrifice your joy or your financial future. I would love to hear what you think about holiday spending in the comment section down below. Please let me know. Also, I have created a 5-day Mind and Money series on my website that you'll get access to through your email. And if you are interested in ways to think about money a little bit differently, certainly check out the link in the description to check out the 5-day series, and that is free. Thank you again for watching this video. I make videos every week on personal finance, and how to live a simple and mindful life. If you'd like to see more videos from me, be sure to subscribe and also like this video. It helps my channel out. And I will see you on the next video. Until then, remember to make the decisions that support the life you want. Bye for now.